So today we're finally going to build something again here in Stormworks, and we have a massive tsunami on the way, and we must build a tsunami pod in order to survive. So we're going to try to pack this thing full of features. So be sure to stay tuned until the end to see if we make it, and let's jump in. Okay, well, the waters are calm right now, but we need to get building. And folks, it has been a hot second since I built something in Stormworks, so it's probably going to be pretty basic. But yeah, I was recently inspired by Neotastic's been building a lot of tsunami bunkers, and I was like, I want to try building another one of these. So it's going to be like a tsunami pod slash bunker. So hopefully you'll be able to mount it onto ships, and you can use it on land if you want to. So we're going to call this probably the Mark 1. How long do we want this to be? I guess it depends on the seats. The seats are like 2 blocks wide. So yeah, the idea is mount it onto ship. Hopefully it floats. I think I can make it float. I don't know. It's been a while since I've even done a lot of the basics in the game, so there's a chance that stuff has changed. So we need a door. We don't need like an airlock or anything. You just got to be able to get in real quick. Hinge door, and then of course we're gonna need a hatch to probably put on the top and the bottom. That way, just in case it gets flipped over, you want a means of escape. Okay, so when you think tsunami shelter, what do you think? Probably you want to have the passengers or the survivors be right in the middle, just in case the outside walls get hit with objects. Also, you probably would want it about 2 deep as far as the blocks. I don't know if we're going to do that here. We need to get some shapes here. That way we can at least make it look good. I mean, it's probably not going to look that great. It's ultimately going to be a big orange tube. So things that you probably wouldn't do. Probably wouldn't add windows, but I want to be able to see my impending doom, so I am going to add windows to this build. Here's your basic door shape. I don't wonder... I know it looks a little off because the hinge door is off-center, but that's just the way it mounts. It has to have some blocks to the right side of it. Probably gonna stick windows here on the sides. Like I said, probably wouldn't have windows in a survival pod, but you know what? We got to be able to see for the video, right? Yeah, we're gonna go with that excuse. So let's find ourselves some windows. I think it's some like long, maybe these 1x3s, and then we'll get a couple big ones maybe for the roof. Also, we need solar panels on the roof, so I'm probably gonna cover most of that in the solar panels. You don't have to have a generator or anything into this because it's just, you know, probably want to turn the batteries on when you get in, and that really should be it. So yes, obviously the pod's got to be as bright as possible, so I think we're gonna stick with this orange. Probably have some outlines of red, I would imagine. Also, I want to round this corner off here. Now, if you guys were to add features to a tsunami pod, what would you add? Whether it's realistic or not realistic, I don't care. I just want to see those suggestions. Not gonna lie, it's looking kind of like a tsunami single wide home. I think it's gonna be fine though. All right, before we put the solar panels on top, let me finish the walls. We'll start the interior. Like I said, I'm gonna put here. Let's go ahead and turn this gray. We're gonna have like a center island. I'm gonna have bench seats on both sides. So this is where the people are going to be sitting down. Also, I need to contact Neotastic because I would totally do like a build. No, I wouldn't call it a build off, but we could build together and do maybe 2 separate pods. So yeah, I will just set these on top here. Okay, there we go. We got our seats in. We got a little pipe that runs across. Maybe you can hold on to it as you're flying through the sky. I was almost tempted to go with the other seats that had like the full seat belts, or like the pilot seats, but you can't place as many of those in there. And we want to make it to where you could probably put this on a ship with a full crew in. Okay, now we gotta start thinking about some logistics here. Gonna have to have batteries, so let's go ahead and get batteries here. Probably put these on a on-off. You could go with just one really big one in the back, or we could just go with some maybe small ones for space, because I do want to add some features to this thing. So I think we'll line the... Actually, how far off we want to put these here? Let's put one in the middle, and then one on each side. That way we got a little bit of a barrier, just in case this tsunami pod smacks into something. You want some of the things to be operational. Also, we got to think about the escape hatch here. So let me get the escape door real quick. Want to keep these hinged hatches. Don't want to rely on power for these. So I'm thinking what right here at the end would probably work well. So we will delete this. There we go. And then, like I said, we will stick another one on top. I need to test this out. I think it opens up this way. So that should open up to the... Actually, no, if you're against the ground, you probably want to open up into the interior. Wait, so would it be that? You know, I'm going to have to test that. Let's see which way it works. So yeah, you want to have one there. You want to have like a small ladder to get out the top too. So we'll probably add that to one side. Okay, so the unrealistic part is obviously the windows, which I'm going to add more because I want to be able to see out of this thing. You gotta make it look somewhat aesthetically pleasing. I mean, as pleasing as you can get, because it really is just a big orange turd. So I'm thinking like 4 windows and then a pillar, and then 4 windows and then a pillar. Actually, do I want the windows in or out? Hold on, let's go with them in. So it kind of gives it a little bit more shape. So I would turn these around like this. So I think it's something like that works. And then, hold on, let me go ahead and get the orange pillars in between. Okay, we're making a small design change. I think I want to keep these batteries all in a row. We're probably gonna have 2 layers, or at least 1 to 2 layers of brick under them, or I call it brick, blocks, to try to protect these batteries. Plus, I want to be able to walk up. Obviously, gonna need like a little bit of a supply room. And probably like a small medical bay, just in case you got like an emergency, somebody got injured getting on, or maybe it's after, maybe you're just floating out in the ocean, somebody got injured during the tsunami and you need to potentially give them aid immediately. So I'm hoping 3 batteries is enough. I think with it and the solar panels going, also, it's gonna bug me. Oh yeah, see, this is what I don't like about not being able to put something dead center. You know, the more I think about it, the more that bothers me. That bothers me actually a lot. It probably bothers me more than it should. What I could do, real quick, and I'm going to do it off camera. I could shift everything over, can't I? Like, why would I not do that? You know, because I know it's bugging somebody else, and somebody's probably already pointed it out. I could just build on top of this, and then just shift everything over, delete the windows. It won't take long. You know what? Screw it. I want this thing to be even on both sides. We are going to do that real quick. You guys should be proud of me. We're just not settling today. We're going to make it look correct. Okay, it is now fixed. Look at that. It's nice and even. we did the thing. Yeah, I had a feeling I was going to get a lot of complaints if I did not fix that. It was starting to bug me too. Don't worry. Okay, so let's do solar panels. We do need an escape hatch, which maybe will mirror the hatch down there. We can move those batteries back 1 and then move a ladder right in front of it. So let's get plenty of these. Probably overkill with the solar panels, but you know what? You can never have too many, right? Also, I left a center strip we can cut out and put some lights there here in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and get this up to here, and then let's get that hatch real quick. So I'm assuming this one probably should go like this. And then, yeah, we're going to move those batteries back. That way we can build a ladder that goes to the top here. Now, of course, I got to test to make sure that's functional here in a second, but you guys get what's going on there. All right, closing the roof here, and then I will add some lights here in a second, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty inside. And then, like I said, we'll add another layer. Probably do that now. So the bottom layer is going to be red. It's kind of like the below the waterline or the waterline layer. So I'm going to try to like cube it off a little bit. I don't know. There's some decorative pieces. There is, I believe, at least I want to say there is, that you got the tires. I don't know if they help make this thing float, but we might have to try to use those. And then I think I am going to put some magulls on the bottom. You could do electrical connectors too. Say if you have it lined up with the ship, that's an option. Or you could put winch points down here and try to winch it to a ship too. All right, so that's good. We should probably look at this real quick. All right, let's set it on the ground. That way it doesn't bang against it. Okay, is this gonna be able to survive a tsunami? So let's make sure this opens up. Okay, opens up that way, which is fine. I mean, I guess I can reverse that. I think it opening up to inside's okay. I think this one opening up this way is probably fine. Check this one. Do I want to reverse that, or am I okay with that opening that way? I think I want to reverse this one. I wanted to open up and actually, I don't know. It depends on the situation. Maybe you do want all the doors to open in, just in case there's an object or something obstructing. So this is where you're gonna sit. You got a nice view of your impending doom. Love it. All right, let's get back to work. Okay, here comes some of the fun stuff that we get to put in here. I'd like to use some cameras and stuff, maybe some monitors. Maybe we'll stick them in spots where you can't really see, just in case it flips over. I'd like to use those. I mean, it might be kind of pointless. Of course, we got equipment we need to use. Definitely want some like diving equipment, just in case you start to take on water. You can get into a diving suit. Ideally, you'd have one for every seat, but we're limited in space, so we're gonna have to pick and choose who lives and who dies. Okay, so the back half is just gonna be a solid wall here. So let's go boom, boom. I might add windows to the back part, maybe right here at the end. I should add a couple windows. It feels kind of good. Like I said, I feel like I'm learning again as far as, you know, building. I haven't built in here in forever. course, we always had this mobile tsunami bases, which I always enjoyed those. But that was kind of the last thing I did. Okay, definitely want some flares. We want some medic kits here. We'll put the medic kits on the medical side. Of course, fire extinguishers. You want those just in case something catches on fire aboard this and you can't get out. Okay, I got a defib and some first aid kits on this side. We'll put some more equipment up towards the front, I believe. Okay, we got to think about ways that this pod can be rescued. So rope anchors should be a thing. So I think I'm going to cut open 4 spots here in the front just in case it needs to be dragged out, or it could be almost like a tugboat or something can get it. And I want them probably on the top and the bottom. That way, if you want to get it out via air or if it's flipped over, they could still lift it up and out. So I'm going to delete the corners real quick. Okay, another thing we should think about, high visibility from the air. Of course, the orange is super visible. I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like that's probably enough, but I think I'm gonna also stripe it here up at the top. Probably paint the hatch a different color here. So I'm thinking something like that. Looks like a giant candy cane. All right, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's keep putting in some systems. I need to put in some more switches here. We need lights. It's gonna need plenty of lights. So definitely have some outside spotlights for visibility. There's rotating lights that we could put in. And then, of course, we're going to have our normal interior lights. So, yeah, once you get into this thing, you're probably going to need to go turn on the batteries. So that's going to be job number 1. This will enable all the systems inside. So probably want to stick the battery switch in a highly visible, just kind of an easy area here. So as soon as you walk in, we'll probably have it, and we'll have our toggle switch for our interior lights. And you probably want to do the exterior lights too. That way you can have everything activated and ready to go, and you can get into your seat ASAP. So there we go. We'll have those switches on the wall there. And then I am going to delete a couple blocks up here. That way we can get some interior lights in, and we'll paint them white from the outside here. Doesn't need to be a whole lot because, I mean, it's not a big area. That you don't want to be draining all your battery on the interior lights. So exterior lights, we want to keep them white. I don't know, maybe some flat. Actually, we're going to have some rotating lights on here too. But it's going to be a thing, say it happens at night, you want to still be visible and set out some lights. So we'll do maybe the corners here, then maybe a rotating light in the front and the rear here. There we go. We'll correct the paints on these. Get these all connected into the right buttons here. So top button will be exterior lights, middle will be interior, and then the bottom will be the battery cut on and off. So let's go to electrical here. So this electrical breaker will be for these bad boys right here, these batteries. I need to put a gauge on those batteries too, that way you can tell how much power they have left. And then we want to hook these large solar cells into the batteries. So we'll go at least 2 per battery. I don't know if there's a benefit to connecting them all to a battery or how I need to separate these out, but maybe a couple of the solar cells will connect to all of them. Okay, I'm going to grab a mag all here. We want this. Also, I need to put some ropes inside. That way, just in case you need to get or have extra ropes, say the rescue people don't have enough. We'll probably do equipment on the corner over here. So let's get this orange. I think roughly in this area on this wall, we can get ourselves some more equipment here. Probably put the flashlights over here too. And also, not 100% sure how the radios work, but I think we're going to stick a couple in this corner here. But obviously, you'd want to have... Actually, let's stick about 5 of those. Probably put an antenna on top and power it. Now, I was thinking about just sticking on a camera for funsies. I've also got my mag-alls. I'm going to connect those to the bottom here in a second. So we're going to get a camera and a monitor. I'm probably would be always on. I don't know which monitor I want to stick in here. So the camera itself, I think I'm just going to stick it dead center here. Kind of in the blind spot in the front. That's blocked by all like the medical bay and stuff. So we'll stick that right there. And then we're going to stick a monitor. Where do I want to stick the monitor? That's going to be a good question. Could have like a little, maybe a pull down. Maybe in front of here. Hold on, I got an idea. So maybe make it come down off of this thing up here. How big's the monitor? Oh, that's going to bug me. Maybe we make it a little smaller because it will not be centered. Wait, here we go. 3x3. This is what we want. So yeah, that shouldn't block the escape hatch. And then we can put a monitor there that has what's coming out the front, just in case you can't really see it. Which, like I said, I'm not sure who really actually wants to see the impending doom, but some people might. And then, yeah, we'll put the switch right above that there, and we'll hook it up. And then we'll send the video signal through to there. There we go. All right, so she's got a camera in here now. So we got probably all what you would need to survive. Like I said, I do want to make, let's get these in red. We're going to put a couple pegs down here, one on each corner, and these are going to have magholes down below. So there's going to be several ways you could attach this to a deck. I do think that a rail system would be kind of neat. I want to make sure these are poking up a little bit here, so we'll put one here. Oh, I think I'm too low in the builder here. But yeah, I think a rail system to have it slide off a deck would be kind of cool. It is definitely big compared to like a lot of the big lifeboats and stuff that you see on ships. But this is supposed to house more people. It's a survival pod. It's supposed to be able to set maybe or float, I guess, at sea for a while, which I hope this thing floats. It's pretty wide. I don't see why it won't, but yeah, you never know. Okay, we're gonna add another switch here. Where do I want to put it? I want to put it above. I guess I'll put it above here, and this will be for the magholes. Also, I'm gonna connect this radio into the first button. I guess it transmits that way. Okay, so I think that's all hooked up and ready to go. Honestly, I think she's ready for a test run. We'll probably just keep her on land to start with. Let's go check it out real quick. Okay, so here she is. I don't think, actually, I might want to add another stair there. Maybe one or two. I don't think it would be too heavy for a helicopter. Definitely could set aboard a ship. I mean, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing. All right, so let's turn circuit breaker on. Let's toggle all those buttons. Well, what was that click? Oh, that was the maghole. Okay, I should probably label these switches. All right, so we got those on. We could turn that. All right, we do have feed out the front. I need to add a dial for the battery. Probably would put it like above this to show how much power this thing's got. Ideally, it should have unlimited power because the whole fact it's got the solar panels and those are constantly working to charge the battery. And then, of course, you got your bottom escape hatch. You got your top escape hatch, which is something that you can use. Also, it looks like I did not connect a light. Oh, it's the spinning. How do these spinning lights? Wait, that's not a spinning light. I'm stupid. That needs to be put on a control. That way you can maybe move the spotlights. Okay. Might be able to do that. All right, so there's a couple small things I want to change. But it does look like everything's lighting up the way it should. It's just you're getting an extreme amount of light off the spotlights on the top. The sides, everything looks functional. On interior lights were all on. Got a little bit of paint work I need to do in here. Of course, you got your equipment over here. I could probably add some more equipment up above this. And then you got your little medical bay and all that over on this side. I like it. It's functional. So does anybody know how to hook this thing up? They have like a little RC control unit, which I think would be kind of cool to control the spotlights. That's an option. Or I could put a compact pilot seat. Honestly, I don't think I could really fit a pilot seat in here. So, you know what? I'm going to get rid of those top spotlights. I mean, I could have just aimed them out. So we'll get rid of those. I know I needed to add some stairs here. Okay, so I wanted to test it in a couple different ways. So you can set it on top of a ship. Right now I've got it set on this cargo ship. There is a pre-existing thing here, but if you were to put it on electrical connectors, honestly, you could adapt it to something like this and have it set on the deck and connect via those. And I wanted to make sure she floated, and she indeed does float. Not the best. I think it needs to be one wider around, almost create more of a ring around it to give it more width. I think it would float a little bit better. It's a little heavy on the back side, so maybe we would fan it out a little bit more. So I'm going to make one final adjustment, but she basically floats. Just not 100% where I want it yet. But I wanted to show you guys just kind of a scaling to like a cargo ship in the game, how it would work. One more adjustment. I'm going to add a little bit more surface. And hopefully she's going to float a little bit better. Okay, she's back in the water. She does float a little bit better. It's still got a little heaviness to the end. I tried to extend it out. Probably would have to go another block down, which we do have the ability to do that in order to create a little bit more stable. I don't want to cover up the escape hatch on the bottom, but I feel like going one more block down would probably make it float a little bit better. I also did have the question about the decorative items. I don't know if they actually help, like the tire. Like, that's a thing in the game. There is, or maybe it's under will here. No, actually, we don't want the functional one. Hold on, let me go to the decorative items. Also, while I'm at it, let me get the compass and the dial inside. But these decorative tires, would these actually help them float? Okay, we are floating even a little bit higher. All right, let's get in here real quick. Let's see. It's still a little lopsided. How heavy is the medical bed? Because that's the only thing that's kind of like off on this thing. He's got a medical bed on one side. All right, let's go power circuit breaker on. These are going to be our lights. Let's turn that on there. So we now have power. So we have a read for what the batteries are doing there. We can turn this on here. Like I said, rope anchors, flashlights are over there. Radios are here. Radio is on. The transponder is on the top. We got equipment here. Got plenty of padded seats. Like I said, I don't know if you'd want to see your ultimate demise, but you're going to see it anyways here. Realistically, probably would have solid walls, probably 2 layers thick. That way, if you were to bounce into something, it wouldn't spring a leak. But here we go. We've got a tsunami on the way. You know what? Let's go ahead and increase the... let's see how this thing deals with, say, some high waves here. Seems to be doing okay. I don't know if those tires are doing anything. I stuck them on there just to test it, to see if it was going to help. And a couple things, though. Like I said, you could mount this to land if you wanted to. It could just simply be a tsunami bunker. There's several different ways to treat these things, since they're all pretty much similar. Oh, what's it like walking around in this? It's kind of cool. So, yeah, that's what you're seeing out the back. The spot that's not so visible. You do have a couple side windows. Also, there's a paint spot in there I need to correct. I might change the walls in here a little bit. I did have to change the floors. I put a little yellow circle to kind of indicate where the door is opening up over here. I do not see the tsunami yet. The anticipation's kind of killing me. Hold on, check power. All right, I think we're plenty fine with those solar generators, or the solar panels up top. Oh, geez. There's some pretty rough waves here. She's staying afloat, though. That's the most important thing. And oh, my goodness, I see it. The tsunami's on the way. Oh, she's looking like a really tall one. Yeah, this is going to be a task and a half. It might flip over. That's why we have the hatch on the bottom. That's why we have the lights. Okay, how's she going to hold up? I wonder what this thing would do in a whirlpool. I feel like we're too shallow for a whirlpool here. And here we go. Will she stay afloat? Look for leaks. Nothing leaking. Looks like we're sealed in here. Oh, my goodness. And, ooh, there it goes. Oh, will she stay up, or is it going to capsize? Hold on, there it goes. Surprisingly stable. Yeah. Like, I think I'd be perfectly fine getting inside of this thing. Like, say you're trying to get off a ship or something. There goes the tsunami. So, yeah, let's just say, for instance, we don't open that front door because we are in the water, so water will come in. If you're like that, you're probably only going to use that door when you're boarding it. So say to get out of this thing, we'd pop the hatch open here. I'm still debating on which way that should open up. I mean, I kind of feel like towards this way is probably better, just in case you are in a situation where something's going to block the door. Of course, in Stormworks, the door might just phase through it. I'm not really sure. But there we go. We have survived the tsunami. I want to come back to this. Maybe add some features. Maybe, maybe we'll try to do a boat again. I don't know. I kind of got that weird inspiration to start building a little bit more in Stormworks here and testing out some crafts. And I figured the first easiest thing to do would be a tsunami pod. Maybe we implement this onto a ship or something, but it does seem to function. Hold on, check battery here. Haven't actually gone through any power. Of course, we're using a lot of low power items in here. It'd be different if we were running a lot more stuff, which maybe we'll add some more features, but it can definitely survive a tsunami, and that was my goal here today. And I think we've exceeded that goal here with our tsunami pod.